My gold digger wife divorced me and took all my stuff. Years later I won the lottery, but she came back and demanded I share the money with her. My ex-wife was the bane of my existence. Since day one, she demanded things from me that weren't normal at all. I thought that after splurging a major amount of my savings on our wedding, we would take it easy for a while, but no. She continuously asked me to buy her new clothes and bags even when I told her that we should save money. She even managed to pressure me into buying a car for her even though she was a housewife. You see, in my culture, the concept of divorce is pretty much non-existent. If a couple is having problems inside the house, then they need to resolve it inside the house. That is what I grew up thinking. And so, even though I tried to stand up to my wife, her demands always ended up winning because she would threaten to leave and go back to her parents' house. If that happened, then me and my family's name would be dragged in mud, something that I definitely didn't want to happen. And besides, I thought that as time goes by, her demands would become less and less atrocious because we will grow old. But before that could happen, I was laid off from my job. That happened in 2012, and I was devastated. The entire company just went underground without any warning and I lost my livelihood. I had to borrow money from friends and family as to not go bankrupt and lose my house. And while I was going through this tough time, my wife's demands never stopped. I want to go on a trip overseas. My car is getting old, buy me a new one. This necklace is outdated, let's get a new one. Basically, she acted as if I had gotten richer instead of poorer. One day, I completely snapped at her and said, "Oh, shut up. I can't buy you anything because I don't have any effing money." For her, that was the last straw apparently. She left my house that day and never came back. I was served with divorce papers a few days later, saying that I had to hand over a majority of my assets to my ex-wife. I tried to fight it at first. But like I said earlier, the news of the divorce spread and everyone in my community began treating me like scum. My mom couldn't go outside to buy groceries anymore because someone or the other would always insult me, her son, right in front of her eyes. So eventually I just gave up and signed over everything. I lost not only the car I bought her, but also my own car as well as my house. I had to move back into my parents' house. It was like we were living on minimum wage, something we had never gone through before. It was disheartening, but my parents supported me so I was eventually able to secure a job that paid the same as my old one after a year. That one terrible year had taught me to not take anything for granted, not even your married life. So I worked extra hard at work. My boss this time around was someone who acknowledged hard work and dedication, and he soon gave me a raise and a promotion. All things considered, my life was back on track. I did buy a new house in 2017, but this time instead of bringing a new wife, I brought my parents to live with me. I decided that if I had to spoil someone, it has to be them. They never gave up on me even during tough times, and deserved all the love in the world. Without my ex-wife's usual demands, I was able to save up tons of money. So much that even when my pay got cut in 2021, I was able to survive better than everyone else due to my savings. Now, let's come back to the present. I began buying lottery tickets back in 2022 not because I was starting to gamble, but because it was something that my dad had always done. He would spend less than $50 on lottery tickets once every few months, and that day would become an exciting day for everyone. We would all gather around and scratch the tickets one by one, eager to see if we got a winner. Obviously, we never did. Until last month in November. It was a completely normal day, but then our house was filled with my mother's screams. We had just won an ungodly amount of money from a lottery ticket. It was so hard to believe that I had to confirm it wasn't April 1st or something. I won't mention the exact amount, but even after taxes, it is enough money that I can retire in less than 5 years. I was happy, relishing in my joy when all of a sudden, I received a call from my ex-wife. I won't lie, I hadn't spared a single thought for her since the day she left me. That's how little love I had for her now. So I was really empathetic when she called and began asking how I was doing. Long story short, this is what she said: "I heard that you won a lot of money. So I think that as your wife, I should get half of it." I politely reminded her that she wasn't my wife anymore, and that we had gotten divorced. She didn't deserve to get a single penny from me. But she didn't take my words kindly at all. For some reason, she had grown extremely entitled, and began demanding that I send the money over immediately or she would take legal action. However, I have been an avid reader of the law after my divorce, and know that she has no case. So I just told her that sure, you can contact my lawyer and try to get my money. But ever since you left, I've been happier than ever taking care of my parents. I won't let you destroy my peace again. If she does decide to take me to court over this ridiculous demand, then I am planning on countersuing her for taking advantage of an emotionally beaten individual. I am not the docile, weak man that I was when I let her take my house. Update: my gold digger wife divorced me and took all my stuff. Years later I won the lottery, but she came back and demanded I share the money with her. It has been a few months since I won the lottery and my wife called, saying that she deserved some of it. But I had changed from when she left me, and wasn't going to let her walk all over me again. I rejected her idea of me just peacefully sending her the money. She tried to threaten me with court, thinking that I would once again be scared of public humiliation. But I stood my ground and taunted her that she had no case. However, I also had a brilliant idea. My father had begun studying the law alongside me, and suggested that we taunt her into taking us to court. She clearly has no chance of winning, but in her arrogance, she won't be able to see that. As a result, she would have to pay her lawyer a large sum of money out of her own pocket. And that is exactly what happened. After she left me, she had a string of lovers but no man wanted to marry her, so she was alone. She was struggling to find a proper job and desperately wanted the money that I won, so she took me to court. But guess what? The judge literally laughed when he read what the case was about. The hearing didn't even last an hour and the case was dismissed. She had to use all her savings to pay her lawyer, and ended up going bankrupt. I heard that her parents sold their house and moved to a smaller one to help her with expenses. But weirdly enough, I never once felt sorry for her. I did pity her, but that was it. I didn't even consider helping her or sharing some of the money. I guess I had truly moved on even though I clearly remember how much I loved her in the past. Since the court proceedings are over including the tax filings for my winnings, I am now free to do whatever I want. I have booked a trip to Dubai with my parents and am planning to spoil them until they are satisfied. They took me back in when I had nothing left and always supported me, so I'm doing my best to repay them. Also, I want to thank everyone who supported me and gave me courage in the comments. There were some maniacs who tried to threaten me, but the good far outweighed the evil. Listening to all your stories, I am glad I got justice in mine and wish you all the best in yours.